on all of the.
He's already sent them to us.
You already sent them to us? I haven't seen them. I haven't looked at them.
To the committee.
Huh?
It was on my phone.
But I mean, it's not too late to change anything. That's the whole point is,
The reason why is because I was the only one on the committee, and I just brought it up, and everybody looked at me, and I was like, God, did I dream that? And so I just asked Rifle.
what committee? You mean the school?
Yes.
Yeah. Because when we walked around out there, they came up with several renditions that you could build into. You know, like when we get the indoor community center.
Right.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Village of Ruidoso workshop. Today is March 5th. I can't believe it's already flying by so quickly. Are you really happy today, Lee? Look at the smile on that face. Is he? I can't tell. I can't tell. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and we'll have a call to order, and then we'll go ahead and do the pledge. Pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico, the symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
And those that were at the Roundhouse, were y'all not surprised at how many of the legislators didn't know that?
Not know it.
They don't.
New haircut?
It's in there.
No, he had his hat on.
Oh, you had your hat on.
Have my hat on and smashed it down.
Okay, no ski day, is it? We'll start with the notice of workshop items. Well, we need a roll call, please. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Good morning, Mayor Crawford,
Here?
Councilor Jackson. Here. Councilor Eby.
Here.
Councilor Letterman.
Here,
Councilor Salas.
Here?
Councilor Hooker.
Here.
Good morning, Gary. What city are we in today? Albuquerque?
Albuquerque.
All right, be safe. Item number 1 is discussion on the 2024 strategic plan.
Good morning, Mayor, members of the council. Happy Election Day, and Jenny will provide us some information, hopefully after about 7:30 or so. Mayor and council, this is the final draft of the strategic plan for 2024. We had, during the strategic planning, council did have some comments and some recommendations on some items. The staff did prepare those. We also had some others from some counselors and have those set also, and we're ready to formally adopt this by council.
Okay.
And Mayor, also, and council, this strategic plan is each director, manager, it is set with their goals, also with their department goals.
Okay.
And those changes will be changed before the meeting, right? The
Yes,
regular meeting.
the changes, a few of the changes there that we received from some counselors, we'll be already working on them and be on the final draft that'll be placed on the regular council meeting.
Okay.
Be already good to go.
Okay, put that on
I don't know, do we need to hear?
regular?
it?
You want, yeah,
Yeah,
Let's go through
regular, so
regular.
we could,
Discuss
if we
it.
want to discuss it, any of the, very good plan.
Item number 2, discussion on adoption of resolution 2024-10, resolution authorizing the participation in the Transportation Project Fund administered by the New Mexico Department of Transportation for fiscal year in the amount of $2 million. And this, go ahead, Ron.
Mayor, council, this is the 2025 TPF fundings. This is from the Department of Transportation. This grant application here is for Meander Drive, Cream Meadows Drive, White Mountain Meadows Drive. It's a total of 4.1 miles.
You want that on regular, Susan, so we can talk about it?
that would be nice.
Okay. Item number 3. Discussion on adoption of Resolution 2024-11, a resolution authorizing the participation in the Transportation Fund program administered by New Mexico 2025 in the amount of $2 million.
Mayor, Council, this is our maintenance grant number 2 for the TPF funding with the New Mexico Department of Transportation. White Mountain Drive, Port Drive, Jack Little Drive, L.L. Davis Drive, Leon Farrar Drive, and Wingfield Street. And it's a total of 4.9 miles. And these are both be with the Cutler. If awarded, it'd be the Cutler paving process.
And essentially, was there any lobbying whatsoever from the mayor for Jake Little?
No lobbying from the mayor.
Or on the previous
Or the-
for White Mountain Meadows?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just checking. Yeah, he was going for the whole area of town and then
Well, I lobbied and I didn't get anything.
didn't get it. Well, if he's like me, if he goes in Citibank, he gets hammered all the time from Lane and those other people.
Oh, yeah.
Hallelujah. Let's hope that works. Item number 4, discussion on
Are we gonna
adoption.
do consent or regular?
Oh, yeah. What do you want to do on that one?
I'd say
Same thing?
regular.
I think so,
So we
regular.
can
Regular.
announce that.
I'm sorry, I wrote regular.
And I'll have, Mayor and Council, I'll have Mike and Adam, they can talk about the project at the regular meeting on all 3 of them. So there are
Nice.
separate representatives, I'll have them discuss them further.
Okay. Item number 4, discussion on adoption of Resolution 2024-12, resolution authorizing the participation in the Transportation Project Fund administered by New Mexico Department of Transportation in the fiscal year in the amount of $500,000.
Mayor and Council, this is, this funding here is for a design project. The max is $500,000. This will be for the US Highway 70, New Mexico 48 intersection. And this will be the total corridor that we want to have designed, and this is the first phase of that.
Okay?
Regular?
Yep, that's what y'all want, sure, yeah, because I know that there's been some questions about that.
Yeah, we had some questions the other day about the road that comes up right there by the hospital, how dangerous that is, and we discussed it a time.
By Subway, that one?
Yes.
What is that?
Sutton.
Sutton, yeah,
Yes.
it's a difficult deal, especially coming up.
Yeah,
In Mayor and Council, we had a feasibility study that was conducted and approved by the council been about 3 years, I guess, now, and this stems from that original feasibility study to the design and final design.
Excellent. Number 5, discussion on recommendation from Sierra Blanca Regional Airport Advisory Board to oppose the non-movement area boundary marking at the airport. And this was simply, go ahead, Lee. I saw you moving this way. I didn't know if you're bouncing out the room or what, so go after it.
Well, I was headed that way, but I figured I'd stick around. Okay, on this, I brought this up in our strategic planning. I'm trying to make the airport a safer place for our staff, our customers. We have a lot of vehicle traffic out on the ramp, people driving out to their planes, in and out of the gates. And, like I say, I want it safer. And I bring up Clovis because we never did that. Very seldom, we would escort somebody to their plane and escort them back out the gate. We didn't just let people drive around on the ramp. Even our attendants didn't drive around on our main ramp. And this line I want to put across here, it's basically a hold short line. It's a non-movement area sign or line that will be painted across the ramp. I've got several different layouts for it, and I've sent the different plans or different maps to our FAA inspector about it. And I know Armstrong, when they talked to, I think they talked to you about it, they said that we needed to get the blessing from the FAA as how we do it. Jane Luceros is actually the one that sent me the marking that should probably be used there. So I sent the stuff to the FAA inspector, and she's supposed to get back to me sometime today on.
Well, she's here now.
Uh,
Well, the FAA.
Oh, you said she, so it's a woman you're waiting on?
Yeah, I'm waiting on,
Aren't we
Jenny.
all, really, when it
Come
comes
on.
down to it?
You know, it's waiting.
I'm waiting on Jenny Siddons from the FAA to get back to me on the best place to put that line whenever we get ready to move forward with that.
Jane, would you like to say something?
Of course I would. Good morning, Mayor, Council. I'm sorry you couldn't be there in person, but I have Deputy Grant today. So Lee did bring this up, to me, and I did send him directly from the AC, the FAA, which specifically states, some airport operators without an air traffic control tower have effectively used this surface marking on terminals and other aprons to separate vehicle traffic, equipment traffic, from the areas where aircraft taxis, such as where the aircraft enter and exit an aircraft parking area located off the terminal. So it's not unusual. It will bring a safer operating environment to the airport. However, there's gonna be a huge learning curve for your pilots.
Well, they're already blowing up, because they say that all the other airports they fly in here, Texas, New Mexico, none of them have that. Some of them have it where you wait to the side and you call in, and then when you're told that you can go to your airplane, that they'll drive out to the airplane and pick them up. So, what do we say about that?
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen these lines at airports, but it's all have been at tower airports. So, and since you guys don't have a tower, there are gonna have to be some procedures in place where, if I need to get to my aircraft, I call Lee or radio with Lee and be like, hey, can I get an escort? So there are gonna have to be some procedural things put in place. But overall, I think it's a good idea. I think it's gonna make your airport safer. The thing we don't want is we don't want a vehicle, not that it's happened, but we don't want a vehicle, hitting an aircraft wing. And it's just a safer environment all around. But there is gonna be a learning curve.
Well, don't we have, like little vehicles that we can go get their luggage and the person and bring them back to the terminal?
No, you were talking about having to buy some side-by-sides or whatever, but keep in mind who's coming in. And I understand the safety aspect of it, but when I called around to other airports, they said, well, we don't just let people drive around. Our problem is everybody and their dog has the gate key, the gate combo. We've got to stop that. And it needs to be changed regular to limit that. And I think just simple education, I think you can have a line there. Because you can't just write down lines. FAA's got to do it. We even had discussions over the color of the yellow paint or whatever that had to be a specific yellow, all of those things. So it's very specific. But, when we have people that come in, they have luggage. They're coming in, so we're going to put them on the back of a golf cart or until we get ATV, run them to the front. And I see our trucks driving around out there all the time too, and so I know they have a purpose. But, when people can run in the gate, if they're going to come over, who's going to be out there to stop them, number one?
Right.
And then, we got people out there that are breaking the rules now we're not enforcing, and that's one of the things we're going to start working on. We've talked about people living out there, having storage for garage sales and stuff like that. So we want to make sure we get those. I just don't see this one as, you want buy-in from your community, and that's what we've been working with out there, the airport community. So I think we need to make some barriers and limitations on what we're doing and say, this is a no-go zone. And if you're going to have to send one of our guys out to get the luggage, why couldn't they be on the radio, say, flat whatever, you can go get your party now and train people to do that. I think that would be more acceptable than saying nobody's going to drive out there. Because I know in the summer when you have multiple landings, how many vehicles are you going to have? Where are you going to put the luggage? And some of these people that fly in on the bigger airplanes, the net jets or flat jets or whatever it's called, I know who those people are, and I have golf carts. They can't ride on the back of a golf cart. They get out, they get in their car. And so those are things that I don't understand. So when you tell me that, Jane, and I talk to other airports, none of the other people, they just laugh about, they just say, well, not really. So they said we let them know when they can go on and get off, and that's about it. But y'all are telling me that that's not what FAA, you didn't say directed, you said it does have, and there can be.
It can't, okay, yeah, in their advisory circular, which remember is just advisory, it gives you the option of doing it. And what makes your airport just unique amongst all the airports in the state is, you guys are the FBO. So there's other airports that have an FBO. I mean, Clovis is their own FBO, Clayton's their own FBO. But you guys have a different clientele where you truly act as an FBO. So they are used to, when I get off an aircraft and I'm coming down for the races, I expect my vehicle to be right there, load my luggage in the vehicle, and then, take off. And, I mean, Lee, I don't wanna put you on the spot, but there's processes and stuff you can do to still make that happen, right? And meet the clientele, the clientele's wishes, while still keeping a safe airport.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just saying that after listening, I sat in this meeting with the airport board, and they understand, that, because somebody left a car parked out there while they went flying or whatever, so that's gonna have to be done. That guy we should have called the towing company, towed him out of there, fined him, whatever, but we need to have, as we've learned, Chief, you gotta have signs everywhere that say, none of this, here's the rules passed out. And I think if we do a better job of those things and then limit that gate code, because that was what was really strange, and it's changed now from then, but I hadn't been out there in 2 or 3 years, and then when we went out to an event, I just looked it up, the one I had in my phone from all that time, and it was the same one. And then, when they had that party out there, the King Hanger, everybody had the code, so they're changing that now. But I just think you're gonna get a lot of blowback from different people, and I'm not saying we don't limit it. I'm just saying we need to find a line that's acceptable where they could pull up and then pull over to the plane, pick them up, and then take them out of there. So, I don't know. I mean, it's just my point.
Regs.
Ma'am?
Do you have rules and regs?
Do you have rules?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, maybe we just need to update those and, send them out, bring that before the airport board, and then send them out to all tenants of the airport, which just specifically, these are the rules and regs of operating at the airport.
And I mean, I know it's gonna be tough, especially this summer with everybody coming in. They're not used to that. But that's where we're gonna, if we can paint a line out there where it's painted, and that this is your no-go without direction. And then instead of our guys going out, which our guys usually go out anyway on the bigger planes.
Yes.
When I've watched them, they go out there and help pull the stuff off and whatever, and then throw it in the back of their car, their Suburban. And the ones that need help getting off the plane, they can, but to get them on the back of a four-wheeler, get them in one of those things, they're not like getting in and out of a car.
We do have a couple of options out there. I'm looking at getting a luggage cart, like what you see on the big airports, they pull behind a tug. I'm looking at getting one of those, and we've got the Ford Explorer that we use as a courtesy car. Well, we've also have a Chevy Tahoe. And I was talking to my staff about that the other day, and we thought about maybe using that Tahoe instead of getting a side-by-side or a golf cart, just using that Tahoe and hooking that trailer up to it. And we could drive out to the plane, like you say, load their luggage in the trailer, they can get in the Tahoe, and we can take them across the street to their vehicle and help them load their luggage in their vehicle, and they can.
Across the street.
Yeah, that's where because that's the only parking lot we have.
Well, I know usually some will pull up underneath that front canopy. That's what I used to do and walk through.
Right.
And pick people up and then walk them back through carrying their luggage. And that's not a easy airport to walk through because of the narrow halls and everything. So that wasn't a good option either. And here we're gonna be taking people off the line, driving them across to the parking lot. Are you gonna have their luggage covered in case it's raining?
Well, the cart that I'm looking at got curtains on it.
So it's one of those that stands up tall and you pull the curtains to the side and you stack stuff, pull them back?
Yes, sir. just like the ones you see at DFW and stuff. And that's an option that I was looking at. And the reason I say take them across the street to their cars, because that's where our parking lot's at.
Sure.
And as I mentioned in a meeting or so ago, we did have an incident out there, or they had an incident out there a few years back where a car was wrecked, pulling it out of a parking slot by one of our village employees. And that's another thing that I'm trying to alleviate is I don't believe we should be driving personal vehicles. I believe it's a liability on the village for us to be driving their vehicles.
So maybe just a starting point, you put the line, you say, look, this is a cautionary zone, there's gonna be different procedures for getting in and out of there. That would be a start.
You heard of, picking up a penny and stepping over a dollar? You understand the basics behind that? That's what I think you're doing. I think that you're saying, okay, we're gonna limit our liability, driving the cars over there, but that's part of the service that we've been selling for years is we've even rinsed them off. We even warmed them up, tip, that kind of deal. And now then we're saying no more. I don't know. I don't think that, because remember the conversation on the airport, one of the things we want to talk about is how do we make our money in the village of Ruidoso? So can anybody tell me? Off of tourism. And tourism is a friendly business. We welcome you to the community. We thank you for this, that, and the other. And that's what we've tried to bring to the airport. And this is another way of we're saying, halt, right there, no more this, no more that, when we're talking about fixing the airport up on the inside, making it more friendly for people to come in and do things. We're going to have drive-in and fly-ins. So how are we going to handle those things? And so, but the whole deal is that we're going to drive you out there in a Tahoe or one of the older cars that we have, putting those people in. And I think it's going to be a lot, because I've been out there when you got plane after plane after plane, and I've been out there where I've driven up, they come in, they stop, I drive up, we throw their stuff in the back of their suitcase, and then our guys actually pulled the plane over and tied it down. And that was part of the fee that we charged back then. And then so on the smaller planes, we've eliminated that.
Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
I totally understand where you're coming from. But it seems, are we trying to, it'd be like saying it's okay for our visitors to break the law because
We're not talking about visitors, we're talking about people that live here, and we're not talking about, they're not driving all over the airport, okay? They're driving
I
up in front,
understand.
and it's like at the lake, how are you gonna start policing the lake on, you gotta wear a helmet when you ride a bicycle on our trails.
But that's not a law.
No, that's what, this ain't either. And she's telling us it ain't a law. It's what do you want to do? That it is recommended. Well, yeah, they recommend a lot of stuff that we don't do because it's too stringent. You can't enforce it. We don't have the manpower. You're going to have people on busy days waiting while we're running them across the road. And what kind of liability is that driving them back and forth across the road? You're talking about liability. I don't know. I just think we're opening up a Pandora's box that we could make a limitation, set a rule, and try to enforce that rule. And say, you're not going past here until you're cleared. Airplane people understand cleared.
Yes, sir.
We're going from, hello, is anybody at Regional Airport? Sierra Blanca Airport, are you there? Mayor, we can't get anybody at the airport. They call me on the phone. To now then, no. That's what I'm saying. That we're going this direction, and all of a sudden we're going to start saying no to this point. I think we have a happy medium where we work with the airport board, just like we do with Parks and Rec, just like we do with the Wingfield House Board. We take their recommendations and we listen to them, because that's what they've said. We go to other airports. We've tried to get fuel prices down there to be competitive, so we try to get people to fly into our box. And now then we're going to say no to, I'm saying you're not going to be driving willy-nilly out there like some of them do. That we shut that down, and the first way you do is get control access. And then you let them know this is not for everybody and your dog.
Mayor and council, I think taking Jane's recommendation of working on the rules and regs and going that route, that's what I would start with.
And the reason I'm making the case today
Yep.
is because I go to those meetings and I talk to those pilots. A lot of them are here local. They're the ones that own the hangars. That's who we're talking about.
Yep.
Is a lot of those people, they drive out there to get their stuff back and forth. And then, of course, when NetJet, FlatJet, or whatever those coming in, that's the ones that's going to have their luggage. And so we're talking about having a lab service and all this other stuff out there, service. So, that's what I'm talking about.
I recalled when we were 24-hour, when we had staff, there was more eyes on deck to help alleviate all that cars being left out on the tarmac and everything like that. So, once that switched down, and then just like what the mayor's saying, when they're calling in and can't find nobody because they're out in the field or something like that, that's the thing that I was always on to the managers, was that we got to be sure they're adequately staffed. And at one time, a manager took away a designated allotment of gross receipt that when the airport was first built, that was out of gross receipt tax, that was strictly for the airport to help out with the operations, and not only that, with the upkeep and stuff. Well, that went away. And that's where I just started seeing, okay, we're gonna start disintegrating our airport, and we're at that. I think that was in 14 or something like that.
Dave.
Dave Pierce.
Yeah, Dave
Yep.
was here.
And I supported them. Hey, we got to get that tax back for them, but no, at that time, the manager and the finance director had other motives for that 0.25%. But yeah, I agree. It's liability no matter where we're at or what we do and stuff. But I do recall that it was valet parking pretty much. And I knew the workers that were out there, and they catered, and they got good reviews. Because, man, now this is service. And that's what I'm hoping that we continue to do.
Because they've done research like on Sedona, destination airports like which we are, really, for people to come in off seasons, and that's what the board's talking about doing, is bringing in events, like there's some of them going to Oshkosh, will never be Oshkosh, that's huge.
Right.
And other things like that, but that they're coming in to the area, and it's about being a clean, friendly, functional airport that we would like to somehow have profit centers in one day. And that's what we're trying to work for. But instead of continuing to work that deal, we're coming back and saying, no, we're going to stop this because some idiot left his car out there, and we got other idiots out there driving around, and instead of, making a rule to enforce the rules, to say you don't do that anymore. And so what happens if they break the rule? What are you going to do? Before we make a rule, I want to know what we're going to do about it. Do you put a lock on their door? Do you, empty the gas out of their plane, take the prop off? It's kind of like you take the door off your kid's room. I'm just asking, what do we do? I'm not a rule maker to make a rule. How do we enforce it? What do you do? And that's why I think you're starting to fight here, because I did talk to several people out there, and they go, yeah, I understand there needs to be limitations. And so if we come up with a limitation that we enforce, look at the rules and regs, what are they? And the reason I was making this case, because I'm not going to be here next week. I'm going to be out of town for the league. So I just want to get that perspective from the board members, and then talking to different ones that have airplanes. I'm shocked at how many people have airplanes that live here. And they're like, yeah, there's too many people running around out there. A guy's dog got loose the other day, so I called Dave Stepp and said, does your dog get out and run around? He said, it wasn't my dog. Things like that is a big deal. And so rules need to be held in check for those, but then how do we enforce it? Do you put their picture up there with a, boo symbol by it? Or, what do we do? What are other airports? And that's what I ask other airports.
And Mayor, what you can do with that, this is where the rules and regs and minimum standards come into effect. So, at larger airports, what would happen is I would pull your badge. cause you know, at larger airports, you have to be badged to be in the fence.
Right.
So you just pull it back. You guys don't have badging here, which is a good thing, don't ever get it.
Oh, that's a good thing?
It's a good thing, yeah, don't
Well,
ever get it.
what she's talking about is badging, like for Santa Fe, stuff like that, like if you have TSA, SITA. It's different than a gate card.
Right. So, but the enforcement all comes down to the rules and regs and minimum standards. And that's where you would set it up, you work with the airport board. Cause the biggest thing we're trying to prevent with this initial line is just a safer environment. We don't want a runway incursion. We don't want any, we don't want a car parked on the apron where a plane could be taking its spot
Sure.
where you guys are losing revenue. And so it all comes down to the rules and regs, we're working together to say, these are the steps, you know, if you have, and the problem is if you have a runway incursion, then the FAA gets involved and you don't want that at all.
No.
So I really think, and Lee, I don't, once again, wanna put you on the spot, but I don't know if you agree, I think it comes down to rules and regs.
Yeah.
And the minimum standards, and that's gonna be the enforcement mechanism where we work with the airport board. And I take part blame in this too, because I need to be down there helping me and helping you guys, you know, cut all this together. And so I think that's the next step. Lee, what do you think?
Yes, ma'am, I believe it is. The stripe that I was wanting to put on there, it would be, like, no unauthorized vehicles.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not a fence across there that they just cannot come across there. And it goes back to what you were saying earlier. Authorized means that you are authorized to be
And
there.
it's your turn.
And it's your turn. If we authorize you to be there, then you can be there. Not just willy-nilly driving across the ramp. We do have some tenants that will come out there when there's several planes on the ramp and drive across the ramp and drive around the planes to look at the planes.
Yeah. See,
That's
that's
another
gotta
thing I'm
stop.
trying to put a stop to is,
Yeah,
I
that has
don't have a
to,
problem with them looking at them, but
see, those are the kind of things, but how do we enforce it? That's what I want to know. What do we do? Do we fine it by adding it to the rent? Where's our attorney when we need him? He's on the beach. But, you know, those are things I want to know. What do we do? Because some of these people are hard-headed. I deal with some out there, and I know until I finally get their attention, they just keep doing what they're doing. And then they're telling their people to come get me, and their people are listening to their boss, not listening to us. So how do we enforce it? That's what support we need to get, Jane, for Lee, is, okay, they aren't obeying the rules, what do we do then?
as far as the access, gate access, being the gate code, that's a tough one. You know, in Clovis, we had, gate cards. So every tenant had a gate card, they'd swipe it in and out. And if I saw somebody going through the gate that I didn't look like they should be there, I'd call IT and ask them who just went through the gate. And they'd pull it up and tell me whose card was used. Say, well, that wasn't the person that, was in the vehicle that used that card, so I'd have the card shut off.
I wonder how expensive that would be, because we're doing it here.
Jane, do you have any idea on that? We can look into that.
Yeah, I mean, I can look to see, we just put a gate card system up in Clovis, but I would have to look to see how much it would be.
Okay.
But that's absolutely something that you all can do to help mitigate access, because you're not the only airport that has gate codes all over the place. Gate codes are published on the 5010 form.
Yep.
Most people know that the gate code is normally the elevation of the airport.
Yeah.
So, that'd be a good thing to do to stop access, or to help with access.
But you remember, it was before your time. We had the big party out there.
Well,
Okay, and everybody was coming in and out. We had no way, we did nothing to them except call them in and tell them, don't do that ever again, or, you know, and JD said, I'm sorry, you know, I won't do it again. He hadn't. So I would like to be able to make sure that we have the authority when somebody's breaking these rules, that we're able to, can we not give them a fine?
You could,
Okay, we have to have that in ordinance?
you can take them off the airport, if it's a real egregious, depending how your leases are set up, you could be like, nope.
Because when Lee first told me about this, when we were in Santa Fe, I'm like, heck yeah, we gotta be safe about everything. We gotta stop this and do whatever. And then usually when I make a snap decision, I haven't looked at all, how things work together. And then it was after I started hearing all the pieces, calling a few other people, other airports, and talking to them, that I realized, well, nobody else is doing it like this in an airport like ours, that's similar in size and all of that. And so, but if we have rules and regs, which I don't know what they are.
And Mayor, Mayor and Council will get with the New Mexico, the Municipal League, and visit with Allison on see if they have any from other airports.
But I know that they've got to have the authority to make these folks believers that this is it.
And if they have to call a police officer over there, if something happens, a violation, then we have to have it by ordinance, so.
Because if not, we're going to be a bunch of tattletales, like the people that call me and said they're feeding the animals. By the time the cops get there, they're not.
I know it's the truth.
And then we don't get anything done except for I'm a tattletale. Oh, here comes the mayor, everybody behave,
Right.
And so it's one of those kind of deals. I don't want to put our people in that position. I want that people know they're posted and that we'll have to make a believer out of somebody, but then we have the authority to. Because these people are going to hire a lawyer, and then here we go. And so it has to be, and we need to explain the narrative, why we're doing this, all those things. Because the complaint that I got from those guys was we got people, when he was trying to get to his hangar, there were cars and trucks parked out there, and he's got his big Falcon 40, I think, jet, like a $19, $20 million plane, that he's afraid to bump a wing. And so he's having to get out and tell, who owns this car, move it, please. And we don't want that. So.
Yeah, that's very frustrating.
So anyway, y'all can discuss it, but that was just my 2 cents from calling and talking and to different ones about, we let them, there they go running the elk out of the
That is very dangerous
fence. Well, they need to block it off better,
for,
but they lean into the fence and
for
just walk
people
through
that are
it.
walking, for the cars.
So then do we need to discuss this next week, or could it be dropped off and?
Whatever y'all want to do.
Because, he's now got a feeling from the other side, I think, and maybe with some way ahead of getting some help from Jane, looking at redoing the policy and writing that in, as opposed to us coming back and rehashing this same conversation next week.
Yeah, because it was the Airport Advisory Board that they had a lot of the same things that's where I'm getting some of this, and is that they didn't like it being line in the sand. They wanted to work on other options, and that's why they wanted it put on here to discuss it. But if y'all don't want it on here, we take it off because it was discussed, and then we can come back with other.
That'd be my suggestion.
Is that what y'all gonna do?
Yes.
Sounds good.
I'm good with, I think, I can go back and do some more research and like Jane said, I can work on putting together some new policies and procedures for it and
And then we get all those people to adopt it, and then we'll find out how much a gate card or key system would be.
That's
Because
That
if
would be
they
good.
abuse it, you
Find
just
that
cut the code off, and then you make them come to the front door and,
Talk about what's going on.
Yep.
That'd be the first step.
Yep.
Second step then is whatever, fining, taking their car to access way, you're out for 30 days, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
okay.
and then we'll have to, yes,
Well, I just had a question. I understand and agree with all of that, but I think the other side of it is the enforcement arm of this. Is there or isn't there a way to enforce these rules and regs that we're anticipating that will be rewritten or provided? And I wonder if legal doesn't need to have some input into that. Because one thing I heard loud and clear was, unless you've got some enforcement policy, you can write all the rules and regs you want.
yep. And we'll have Zach, he'll be back when?
Couple of weeks.
Couple of weeks. We'll talk to Zach, but then we can get the queen of the airport up there, Jane, to help us dig into those, because I think the airport people, they're very, and I've flown with a couple of them here recently. They are all about, a sterile, I didn't know what a sterile cockpit was. That means you don't talk, you don't play music. They're all about the gauges, watching everything when they're taking off and landing. The ones that I've seen out there are they follow the rules, safety's paramount. So I think that if we just present it with an alternative that is workable by Lee and the staff, that we can then have an enforcement mechanism, I think they'll go for it 100%. But I like the idea of a controlled card that you can just cut that sucker off if they're not behaving. And then they have to go to the principal's office. And then.
That'd be good.
We're not going to sell you fuel. We're going to somehow charge, $50 a day on your rent or whatever we possibly can enforce. Write a ticket. They have to go see the judge. So, okay, I know we beat this to death, but we'll move
So
on.
we're going to take it off.
Take this one off and we'll move
Postpone
forward.
it till next month or when all the information's gathered, I would say.
Number 6, discussion on adoption of Sierra Blanca Regional Airport certification manual. I finally got that out. Go ahead.
So the certification manual, I'm going to run 6 and 7 kind of together. The certification manual and the airport emergency plan, the last time they were updated were in 2015. And during our Part 139 inspection this year, our Part 139 inspector looked them over and said that it was time to update them. And there was a lot of information in there that, I think the airport manager or director was Cody Thetford.
Yeah.
And so it'd been a while since they'd been updated. So, the FAA inspector and myself updated the ACM and took out main of the changes were taking the fire department out of there and changing the line of succession, stuff like that, and a few other minor changes. And then Eric helped me out with the airport emergency plan. So both of those have been rewritten. The FAA has signed off on those, and now they come to council for adoption. And once they're adopted, then that's what we have to go by for our Part 139 certification.
But that ACM doesn't have anything to do with what we just talked about, as far as policies and procedures.
Policies and procedures, no, this is operations of how we're going to operate the airport. And it's, a lot of the stuff in the ACM is kind of vague. We don't want to pinpoint, put ourselves in a corner with it, because once it's put in there, then that's exactly what we have to do. So if we put in there, say like on our self-inspections, that's a runway inspection. So if we put in there and say, well, we're gonna do a runway inspection every morning at 7 o'clock, then we have to do it every morning at 7 o'clock on the dot. If not, then we're in violation of our ACM.
Gotcha.
So
Okay, so like mowing and trimming and all that stuff, is that found under operations or under the ACM?
the mowing and trimming is under operations.
Okay.
And basically what the ACM provides is that we will keep up with our infields and our safety areas.
Did the board have any input in this as well?
I don't remember.
No.
No.
Yeah,
This was,
this is, yeah.
Mayor and council, Lee did update him on when they had the inspection and what he needed to work on, and he did provide that information that they were working on it, so. Also, the drones, was there something on the drones also that you had to have on there?
yeah.
Is that on that?
That was put in the emergency management or emergency
Okay.
plan. And it's just saying what we're gonna do if we see drones flying around. And it-
What are you gonna do?
Monitor them, depends on where they're at. If they're flying them over our intersection, then we have to shut the airport down until the situation is cleared.
Yeah.
I think we need to issue a
Shotgun.
firearm
Well, I
to,
was already told by the FAA that I cannot do that.
That'd be,
She told me specifically not to do that.
We need an air defense system at the airport.
I think Jane had a,
Yeah, you might want to mention that the airport certification manual is dictated by Federal Aviation Regulation 139. So everything that Lee has in his ACM is dictated by that FAR. So there's all these different sections of operational, wildlife management, drone management, all that stuff. So what the report or the manual is based off the Federal Aviation Regulation.
Okay, thank you. Does it require any additional funding to make these things happen, or is it just rolled into current operations?
It's just rolled in.
Okay,
Basically, we've had a ACM for, ever since we became a Part 139 airport. So we basically just went in there and cleaned it up.
Right.
And the FAA signed off on it, and it just needs to be approved by.
well, I just didn't know if it had something in there for fuel tanks, additional berms need to be built, or, but it didn't have any of that stuff in it.
No, sir.
Okay.
Consent?
Consent?
On both of them.
On both of them,
Okay.
consent.
Thank you. Number 8, discussion on task order RFP 2023-001P-002, final design for Meander Culvert with Dubois and King, Inc. for $80,794.43. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mayor and Council. This
Good
will
morning.
seem like deja vu. I brought this to you last council meeting. Since we brought this task order to you, the county has decided, or we found out that the Warrior culvert belongs to the county, Warrior and Gatlin.
Yep.
Gatlin.
Evelyn, yes, ma'am.
So they're going to move forward with replacing that culvert, so we removed it from the task order. So I brought it back to you just for the Meander culvert. So I just needed to get your approval on the reduced amount at 80,000.
Nice.
And she's already got, how much design on that?
We already got 60%.
So they'll turn that over to the county, and that's that 2.5 million, we got 2.5 million they got. So what do you bet they work on it all through racing season? If they do it at all. If they do it at all.
So so they have to be involved in this
Well, it's
one?
in their actual
In Meander?
property. Oh, no.
So
This
you're
one is
talking,
ours.
okay, Warrior Drive.
Yeah, see, first we were gonna do Warrior Drive, all that culvert where we started doing all that work,
Yeah.
spreading that all out, and then fixing that. Well, just this last couple of weeks, they came and said, no, that's ours. Honeycutt came and said, no, that's ours. And so geographically, property-wise, it is theirs. And so now then she's reducing that, and then this is Meander that we're gonna do.
Okay.
Yeah, during the whole flooding, it was ours.
Yeah,
But now now that it's time to fix the culvert, they've asked or requested that they do it. So we removed it, and we're just going to concentrate on the culvert for Meander.
in Mayor and Council on that 2.5 million for each entity. It had a June 30th
deadline.
expiration date on it, and I did request additional time, so we'll know when the governor signs the bill if we get that extension or not.
How much
So
more time does she have?
she has till Thursday, I believe, at 11 o'clock.
Okay.
I think, or maybe it's Wednesday. I think it's tomorrow. So,
Okay.
Consent?
Consent?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
consent.
Thank you. And then number 9 is discussion on annual operating plan with the United States Forest Service for the North Fork Eagle Creek Well Special Use Authorization for 2025. Yes, ma'am.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Morning.
This is just our annual operating plan. This will allow us to continue operation of our North Fork wells. So within the packet, you'll see the responsibilities that the villages has to do, which is, maintain the USGS gauges, maintain the roads, and work with the Forest Service on whatever they might need. So just having a good partnership with them.
Okay. Anybody?
Consent?
Consent.
Item number 10, discussion on change order number 7 with Roper Construction to increase the contract time from March 30th, 2024 to April 29th, 2024. for completion of Alto 3, H 1979 POD 5, and Alto 4, H 1979 POD 6 well improvement project.
This time extension is to allow for the inspections to occur through Otero Electric. They only come out every once in a while to actually do the inspections. So once all of our electrical work is done, we'll have the inspector out there. At that point, Roper can do his final little bit of pouring concrete. It's not very much, and then the project should be wrapped up.
Okay.
This will not increase any financial.
Ashley, on that project, you did say that the trail, they opened the trail?
Yep.
Okay.
And then they're going to use that one chained off area to exit and enter.
They'll be using the easement through Lakeshore.
Yep. Okay.
Mr. Jenkins?
Yes.
Yes.
And-
We'll work with Adam on that with Christella and Ashley.
And as y'all know, we've given him extension and extension over the material, so, I mean, the equipment, but this is a little different, so. And he's assured Ashley that we're good,
Correct.
that he'll get it
Consent.
done. Yep.
Yeah.
Item number 11, discussion on multi-award RFP 2024-004P on-call professional engineering services for water and sewer system improvements to Cobb Finley and Associates, Souder Miller and Associates, and Waterworks Engineers. Christella, or, yep,
We went out for an RFP to procure professional engineering services for water and sewer system improvements. We received 4 bid packages, and after the scoring was completed, we decided to award it to Cobb Finley and Associates, Sauter Miller, and Waterworks Engineering. Waterworks Engineers, we made sure that we would have projects for all 3 engineers, so they wouldn't just be having to pay for the insurance and wait around for projects. So they felt that they met the requirements that we needed. We had representatives from all the different areas on the committee, so.
okay.
And then the next item also addresses just awarding the contracts and the agreements.
So, maybe do 11 consent, then we'll have to have 12 for regular. Does that sound good to y'all?
Yes.
In Mayor and Council, we wanted to have on-call engineering firms if we have a project we need to do. In lieu of having to go through CES, it saves money, and we can just contact them and get us a task order, and then we can bring it to council. And that just, we save money, and we're able to do, be able to work with these engineers.
Okay, very good.
We thought it was important also to have different engineers available to us as well, so that we could maybe have, we don't want to just have one engineer have a bunch of projects and get overwhelmed also.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember, which one did Waterworks work on? Who's that engineer?
Mayor and Council, that one there. Are
they new
They're
for
a,
us?
they're a company, we haven't used them here in, not with the village. They've been, there's an office in Albuquerque, so.
Okay, so we're gonna try somebody new, okay. Item number 13, discussion on contract with Souder Miller and Associates to provide bidding, construction administration, construction observation, closeout and design, engineering coordination services for the Upper Canyon Surface Diversion Project not to exceed $357,109.30. So this one's a little sticky with Christella. She's got a bee in her bonnet, a burr under her saddle.
Oh,
Tell us why,
Well,
so we can all join
it's in
in.
your bonnet as well.
Yeah.
This is a project that we're going to be working with Sauter Miller. It was originally a Molson
Yes.
Corbin
Knowles and
project.
Corbin.
So we have to pay them to consult with Sauter Miller because they're the engineer on record. They signed off on the project design. So we have to have them on call to provide any kind of clarifications on the design. So they say that their services could cost up to $140,000. It may not.
For doing really nothing.
Right.
We're hoping they don't. Sauter Miller, I think, should be able to figure it out. It's not too complicated of a design. So this is worst-case scenario. We did work with Marty Howell to reduce the amount of on-site inspections. So this will be reduced when it comes to council by about, what, 30,000?
It was more, it was close to like, Probably around 50,000.
50,000, so it'll be a little bit cheaper on their side
Would you just explain to us again why we even have to have Mosen?
because they're the engineer on record. They signed off as a professional engineer on the design. They completed the design, so
So we decided not to go with
with
Molson.
Molson
Well,
Corp.
you know, with all the issues that we had, remember the Stinson
Oh, yeah.
property and,
And if not, we'd have to have it completely re-engineered
Yes.
by them, which would be a cost of
Whole nother,
da.
yeah.
This is also tied to Water Trust Board funds. so-
yes.
And so they want to make sure that they're consulting as well.
Got it.
Okay.
But that's coming out of SGRT, the additional
Well,
funds, right?
yeah, the
So
SGRT.
that'll come out of there.
The matching funds, we have that all set
I would
aside.
just plan on maximum amount, because I know Mosen will.
Yeah, they're gonna
stick
try to
us.
get the very most goodie they can out of us at the last, but it's all right. I know somebody talking trash on them at the conventions, so. All right, so we want to put that one on
Regular.
regular. Item number 14, discussion on revised sewer line maintenance agreement for the joint interceptor crossing at US Highway. Oh, that's going to be, I thought it was you, but it's going to be. Notice how gracefully he moves. Twinkle toes is what his. On the revised sewer line maintenance agreement with the joint interceptor crossing at Highway 70 between the Village of Ruidoso and the City of Ruidoso Downs to include Cardinal Drive and Swallow Drive. And this was the Merritt
Yes,
originally, if y'all remember, well, that was way back, so.
Mayor, Council, you know,
Long time ago.
back in the day, there was an agreement made through our attorneys with the Downs and Ruidoso for the tie-in on Cardinal and Merriam. This is just revised, saying that we can tie in more houses on Swallow and all that for that area. And it'd be a joint thing between the JUB, or between Ruidoso Downs and the Village of Ruidoso for the crossing at, on Highway 70 there. Of course, you know, there's some issues, so that's what we're working with.
What do y'all want this one?
Regular.
Regular?
Well, we have, Adam, can I ask a question?
Sure. That's why he's here.
And we've talked about this, about, there was the big water break by Meander. And we're having to use well water.
Yes.
And I've had complaints about, because I guess we're not cutting the well water with surface water. How long does that happen, Adam, that we can't go ahead and cut it so, because the water, they're saying it's very filmy and not hardly usable?
So, as you know, half of the village is fed by that water. I mean, like my house, I'm straight off well water, I'm straight off Alto. The people, they're just not used to having just straight well water
Okay.
instead of blended water. I'm working on trying to get that line connected back on Carrizo. That's the whole reason we had to do that, is because of
Okay.
the connection of the line. So we, Ron and myself had to actually go to one of the businesses this weekend. They're complaining about hard water and stuff like that, and it was actually another little issue on their side. But, you know, they are, you know, people are seeing, you know, more deposits and stuff like that, you know, hardness in water, just because it's well water instead of surface water.
Okay.
And you're having to really get on this because of the contract coming up on Suttereth.
Yes. So
He's
we
got to
did
get that fixed and that wall fixed and all that pretty quick.
Yep, yeah, we gotta get the water line in there, the wall fixed before they can pave on Sutter, so we're
Yes,
working on
I
that.
saw that. Okay, thank you very much, I appreciate it.
Okay, item number 15, discussion on Ruidoso Police Department policies for firearms and recruiting selection. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, these are two policies that I'm bringing forward. The firearms policy first will outline the weapons that we issue to our officers. They're all department-issued weapons. Prior to actually Chief Hooker being hired in 2015, we had to provide our own weapons, shotguns, rifles, handguns. Now we actually issue out weapons. This will outline the grain of ammunition, and we have tests and data to provide that shows that the ammunition that we use wouldn't cause over-penetrations or anything like that if we are ever in a officer-involved shooting in a crowd or anything like that. So anytime, unfortunately, that those incidents happen, we typically get sued and have to answer interrogatories, and we'll be able to answer those with confidence and show what we train with, what we provide, and those types of things. The second policy is for recruiting and selection. As you know, since April of last year, whenever marijuana became legal in the state, we've had many issues, statewide with many departments hiring qualified candidates, and we're having to scrub a lot of them immediately just because of experimental marijuana use for dispatch and for officers as well. So we've mirrored a policy from within the state. We've talked to other departments, and what we have, the language that we changed is we would, on a case-by-case basis, evaluate that and then have the authority to conduct random urinalysis on those people that we would hire or afford a job opportunity to.
I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree. And also in your gun policy, it talks about off-duty weapons.
Yes, sir, it does. It does talk about the types of weapons that you can carry off-duty, and the reason that we have it specifically for that is not wanting to just say, okay, you can carry any weapon that you want, and somebody decides to carry a weapon that would not eliminate a threat or anything like that. So we have conducted data on that also, and it talks about holsters, the retention of the holsters, those types of things. So it's all on a safety issue.
Okay.
Is a police officer automatically a concealed carry?
Yes, once they are certified.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What do you want it on?
Consent.
Consent?
I think so.
Okay. All right, now we'll move to let's start with the invocation, pledge, salute, roll call, approval of governing body minutes, February 13th, 29th, then of this meeting on March 5th. Public input, mail reports and presentations, so you'll need to do the new employees and promotions. Proclamation from 10 to 16th. As the mayor used to say, the Echo servants.
Echo servants.
AmeriCorps.
Recognize Echo.
Echo. And then an update on the village-wide fiber project. And one thing I'd like for you to say, Adam, is, that they are moving a lot, but man, how many times have they punched a hole in our water and whatever? I mean, and these guys are out there fixing them. And then we'll talk to them about, hopefully Montoya has a good answer over us losing 911 again and why we keep having those issues. And then just the areas of town that they're going to go to, and what else? But just the basic, to identify.
Pricing also, Mayor, just to have,
That's
because
right.
we're not sure.
Pricing that.
It's been a little bit,
It's almost double what they.
Yep, and if we
advertise.
could go back in the records, Jenny, if we could go back when we had Montoya and them on there in the very beginning and in the contract, because they had a price in there at one time.
It was about a year ago.
Yeah, it was like $49.95 or something for 1 gig up and down.
I thought it was 30-something.
Maybe it was. And now then they're coming out and that's like for half a gig.
For a half a gig, the total bill, because there's truth to that 49 on that half a gig is $49. But then you put in all the taxes, franchise fees. I have to rent the modem and stuff. It comes out to $76 is what my first bill was.
I mean, it's still cheaper than what I'm paying now, but and so that's the truth in it.
So, yeah, so I'm already prepared for him to say, well, that was only just for the fiber through Kinetic. Because it is separated on the Windstream bill there, and then everything else comes in.
Because even on our jobs, we say plus GRT.
Yeah.
Or included.
Are included, but
That wasn't included.
That wasn't included.
But to tell when the next parts of town are gonna be there, did you get a flyer?
No.
They just showed up one day?
I did get a flyer door hanging. That was back in November.
Because I got your, and he's working this deal. If you get an
Oh,
email
yeah,
from
email
Rifle
like
Solace, ignore it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, I know, we did receive
Yeah, yeah, he's,
Sign up. I get $100 if you sign up.
who am I gonna sign up? So, anyway, just to talk about all those issues, but the one that really keeps concerning is we have these 911 outages.
That's
And
really
then the
bad.
county picks them up, like we were out for 2 days nearly.
Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
And
It was going directly to the SO's office and then coming back and it's like, what? And then to get the guy that's over our area, didn't even call Ron back until, somebody back. Who
No.
did they not call back till midnight or?
Well, they didn't, the dispatch center they were working on it, but
Katie.
so I texted them, I said, you need to contact the dispatch center, let them know everything, make sure everything's working. And they had they said it was, what I was told is, we had different stories, but the power supply there by Nob Hill had burned up. And so they had to order the new power supply, so I asked them, well, didn't you have an extra part there, you know? So we'll get that from Johnny when he provides his.
Yeah, so anyway, they'll have a lot of questions for him.
Yeah.
Then on boards and commissions, appointment Adam Sanchez to be the alternate to the Southwestern Regional Transportation Planning Organization, SERPTO, and Michael's the
Yes.
He's the main.
main one, and then Adam will fill in if Michael can't be there. And I see Michael's on his phone, and he's in Texas doing the Texas tour. Are you, Michael?
Yes, sir. I'm here.
Okay, where y'all at?
Right now I'm in Austin. I just got out here that's straight away from San Antonio. My daughter wanted to go see a UT softball girls game.
Nice.
It's very impressive with them being ranked #1 in the country.
Excellent.
Now my son
Cool.
wants to go see UT baseball tonight, so we'll get them there as well.
All right, well, have fun. Thanks for joining us. Next, we'll go to the village manager's report. And whatever you guys can think through after you did, if you want him to highlight something. And then update on the website, because I know y'all are getting calls, I'm getting calls on what's happening. I know that Carrie has got a lot of it put together, and then we add a little more, like, what was it that we were talking about? If we can have a portion on there for what roads we're currently working on, or what water systems or whatever that we're currently working on. And then we've asked her to start joining us on the capital projects update, just so we can keep in line, because it's been about a year
Yes.
that they've been working on the website.
And Mayor, also on the manager's report, we're going to have the Boys and Girls Club, the executive director will be here giving an update on that. And then we had, the Humane Society, Abel wanted to come give up also. He's going to be here. Okay,
That's on where?
it's not listed.
On the manager's report.
Abel requested an update for the council also.
And Chief, their resale place that got broke into, that's in the Downs?
No.
That's ours.
It was ours. That's what I thought, but it looked like they were saying the Downs was investigating it.
Mr. Mayor, Councilor Hooker, they did post pictures on it. They just shared on their website, but we already have a warrant for the person. Officer Witt was able to conduct a traffic stop and make positively ID the guy, so.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Did they get back any of the items, or?
No.
I'd
Unfortunately.
like to put their picture out as soon as we get them. Okay, and then we'll have reports from municipal officials. Public hearing is going to be case RZ 2024-1 petition to rezone 109 Reese Drive, Lot 62. And
Mayor and council, that item is actually current home homeowner who has, one home, they are next to, in one area multifamily, none whether it's residential, and so they're asking to just be rezoned multifamily so that they can build, a unit in the back.
Okay. So that'd be R2? Will that be R2, Mike? He froze?
Yes, sir, they are too.
R2, there you go. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Then after that, we'll have your regular items, closed session. I'm sure we'll have something.
We'll keep
An
the,
update
call-
for
we'll
sure.
keep the call there and see if we have anything or not, so.
Okay. Is there anything anybody else can bring up? Well, good luck, y'all.
Yeah.
So today's the day to go vote, if you haven't already voted, and we had
41? 31.
231 vote early, so that's pretty good. So we'll see. And the movie people will be here this week and next week.
Yes, the director should be here on the 13th and the 14th, and we'll go to permitting after his decisions on the 15th.
Okay. Excellent. Is there anything else anybody can talk? Oh, and if you're wondering what's going on at Eagle Drive and Suttereth, does anybody notice that?
Yeah, saw that.
So it is, I'm confused. You said it's over by the real estate office of Bob Maroney. He's going to build in the back of that? Or does this have to do with Greg Griffin wanting to build some, he's going to demo some houses down in Rio and build some,
No, this is for Bob Maroney. He's actually trying to build a building between Times Square and, I can't remember the name of the
His,
office.
where the
it used to
parking
be
lot
To My
is.
Tongs.
You're kidding me.
He's gonna build right in there.
Yeah. See, and that's what's really weird. All these guys complain about parking lot and then they build on their parking lot.
That's, I brought it up to him. I said, cars are getting stuck back here as it is, especially in the winter. You're eliminating that parking. And then the way he's building the building, it's gonna be even hard to get a car through there to get to the back.
And has it gone through planning and zoning yet?
I believe it has.
How in the heck can you, that, right there?
With zero lot lines, it's C2, C1.
C1, yeah.
You don't have to have any parking, you don't have to have anything.
A house right on Sutterth?
Well, it's gonna be another business.
Shop.
Oh,
Yeah,
business.
but still, it's,
So Adam, is that where they were digging on Sudworth yesterday?
yeah, they were actually,
Well, that was a mess there.
they got the permits and everything from DOT. They were supposed to bore from the parking lot to the manhole at Sutterth and Eagle. Well, when they got to the manhole, it's a brick manhole, and they're starting to push in the bricks. So they cut it and actually, they did it right, but they still had to dig in Sutterth, so.
Good thing that project hadn't started yet.
So
Yeah.
that's not us doing that.
No.
It's.
It's Wix, WX.
So,
I'll be dang.
But yeah, I didn't even know that was happening. And they did have trucks out there and they did have some guys standing in the road
Yeah.
to block everything else. Mm-hmm.
They had a lot of-
So they did that right. It's just that we weren't aware
Yep.
that they were getting after it.
I'll be darned.
So on stuff like that, even though it's the state's highway, should they not contact us because it's our sewer, our water?
Yes, and we filled out the application and worked with them on the application process as far as the sewer is concerned. I did not know they were gonna do it that day. I did look out my window and I saw them, down there doing, in the parking lot. But until you called, I hadn't been through Midtown, so,
Yep.
I didn't know this was actually going on.
Oh, you're one of those guys that tries to stay out of Midtown.
Yeah,
Okay.
I live in Midtown.
Yeah, I know.
and Mayor, they have a new permit agent. It's not, they change permit agents fairly quickly.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of them contacting us. And I agree with you. They need to provide us that information just to make sure, or we call it in and say, that's what I usually do. Say, ask them, do they have a permit for that? And then they'll get back with you, so.
Yeah, and they did shut down one of our roads, so.
Eagle.
The
Yeah.
permit process should have went through us also, being that they're shutting our road.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Anything else anybody can think of? Joseph? Nada?
District meeting here.
Yes, Thursday.
Thursday, and I was gonna ask, I talked to Ron a little bit yesterday afternoon, if our employees on that end of the building just pull into the grass area at a park, because I figure about 10 vehicles from the other communities will be rolling into the parking lot.
Is it gonna be right here?
It's gonna be in this room.
And we were talking about the employees are also gonna try to park down there.
Yes, we'll open this up, and Ralph had a good idea about
Just,
parking.
I
Where the
mean,
parking lot's gonna go anyway, is just
It's
parking that
not
area there.
muddy anymore, I should say, and stuff, but at least, you know, they could park along the bed. And it's just of the morning. We'll be done by noon, right?
Right. I think so.
9
And
to
then-
10?
And then in the afternoon, AJ's giving a legislative update, and we'll have it here live on Zoom in the council chambers of the council.
And that's at 2:00.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, and I think we rescheduled the behavioral health meeting that was at 2:00?
Yes.
Okay. All righty.
Yeah, the 9 o'clock meeting won't last long,
No.
maybe an hour.
No, that's one thing you can count on the league. And then 1:00, the production meeting is the Lost Bus. We're having that all here too?
It'll be on Zoom.
Oh, it'll be on Zoom, okay. And then we're leaving for DC. And we'll only be 1 week before the cherry blossoms are in.
You're gonna go?
Yeah, the league is sending us to DC,
I love that.
where the murder rate's up 142% or something like that. And
Oh, that's a wonderful place to go.
Don't become. the
yeah, I've
lost
been there,
mayor.
but, huh?
Don't become the lost mayor.
Yeah, that's, he went to get his picture by the cherry blossoms and.
Never
I don't know
saw
what
him
happened.
again.
So anybody else have anything? Okay, well, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.